Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I take a deep dive into a particular company or a particular creator or a particular product. And today I'm going to be talking about Meir Yedid Magic. Now, if you don't know Meir Yedid Magic, they are a company based in America that literally ship all over the world. I know from personal experience their shipping is quick. They've shipped over to me in the UK many times, and they are very quick, very reliable, very dependable. Their prices are really good, but they've also got a huge product line that is available exclusively through them. I know they market it through some dealers. They don't go through Murphy's, but I know that some dealers do carry their stuff. I know Alakazam carries some of their range, but not all of their range. The way to get the whole of their range is to go directly to Meir Yedid Magic. Now, Meir Yedid is a legend in the Magic community and has achieved so much, and is somebody I'm hoping to interview very soon on Magic TV. But I wanted to shine a spotlight on some of their product range. Now, this is going to be the first in a series of videos that are going to take place over the next year because they've got such a huge back catalogue. And one of the things that I like to do on Magic TV is bring your attention to items that you might not have seen before. So we're going to be looking at some of their newer stuff. We're going to look at some of their older stuff. And today I'm going to be looking at 5 routines, 5 tricks that you can get from Meir Yedid Magic that are just really cool, to be perfectly honest with you. Very, very different to anything you might have seen before. So here we go. If you check the description down below, you'll see links to all of the products. I'm going to put links to the product pages for all of the products, but we're going to get straight into it and have a look at the first item. So when I was browsing through Meir Yedid Magic's website, one thing I noticed is they've got a lot of very unique ball vases. Now, I've always been a big fan of the ball vase. A lot of magicians look at it as a kiddie prop that you can only, you get it in beginner magic sets, and it's not something you can actually do in the real world. And I absolutely disagree. I think these things are amazing. I remember, I want to say Jeff Latter, but it might be Michael Lou Gallo. I can't remember. But I remember somebody, it was one of the two of them, but I remember them doing a ball and vase routine using no gimmick, using a ball and a vase. And I saw this many, many years ago. And then I realized just how powerful this prop can be in the right hands. And this is really well made. Now, if you don't know what the ball and vase is, the idea is very simple. It's traditionally smaller than this, and you have a ball disappear, and you have a lid, and the ball goes back inside, and it's a shell, basically, that achieves the magic. It makes the magic happen. Now, what's interesting about this is a ball vase designed for use with a sponge ball. So the whole idea is that you can take a sponge ball, take it out, put the lid on, make the sponge ball disappear, and have it go back inside the vase. That's basically what it is. It is a ball vase designed for use with a sponge ball. It is very well made. You get the sponge ball with it. You get the ball vase. When you're actually looking at the shell, which you're looking at right here, you would swear this is actually, even close up, you would swear this is a sponge ball inside the vase. It is very deceptive looking. And, this is something that I think you could do an awful lot with. And I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. I've only just started playing around with this. It doesn't really come with instructions other than the basic, this is how a ball vase works, this is what you do. But I think there's so much you can do with this. And there's a couple of kind of ideas that I've got that are kind of half-formed, but I'll share with you my ideas so that if anybody thinks about getting one of these, you can see where my thinking's going at the moment. And the first idea I've got with this is to combine the ball vase with a couple of routines from the routine that I talked about earlier on, which I'm pretty sure at this point now is Gallo. I'm pretty sure it's Gallo. To do like an opening set sequence before you go into a sponge ball routine. So before you go into your favourite sponge ball routine, and my favourite sponge ball routine is the Pat Page sponge ball routine, you could do this. And this would work really well in parlour. This would also work really well in a banquet situation. You know, you bring this out and you put it down in front of everybody and you say, let me show you something. I'm going to show you something with a ball and a vase. Let me show you something amazing. In fact, I'll do a very quick performance of it. I think that the best way to do this is to have the ball maybe jump inside the vase like 3 times. And then you put the vase away and you go into the sponge ball routine that you want to go into. So you could then split this into 2, do the 2 in the hand, 1 in the pocket, do whatever routine that you want to do. Let me show you what I'm thinking that I'm going to be doing with this. Okay, I'm going to show you something with a little vase here, an old sort of wooden vase. Now there's 3 parts to this. There's the lid, this is the lid. There's the base, this is the base, and then there's this ball that sits inside. So you have the ball, you have the base, and you have the lid. Now the idea is to get the ball inside the vase. Well, that was a fun game. Should we play again? Now obviously that's not very impressive because you saw me put it in there. So I'm going to do the same thing again, but this time using magic. Watch. The lid goes on. Now it's very important that you realise there's nothing there inside the vase. We've got the ball here. Now all I have to do is wave the ball over the vase, and the second I pass my hand over, the ball disappears. Now, where does it go? You're probably wondering. Well, obviously, it goes right there inside the vase. Now, you might have missed that, so I'm going to do it again for you. I'm going to put it right back in there again. You know exactly what's going to happen. So there's the vase. You've got to keep an eye on the vase. You've got to keep an eye on the ball. You've got to keep an eye on everything. It happens like this. All I have to do is squeeze. And when I squeeze, hopefully, with any luck, it feels a bit heavier. Let's just check. Inside there, there's the ball. Now, in all honesty, I could keep getting that ball right there inside it. I could put it away in my pocket and have it go right back inside there. I could keep doing it. I could even leave it inside the vase, and you can see it really is inside there. Put the lid on, show my hand empty, rub the back of my hand, snap my fingers, and I can have the ball jump over here, over to here. But there's too much to watch. So let me get rid of the vase. And let's just use the ball. And now you go into your favourite sponge ball routine, whatever that is. Okay, so that's an example of one routine that you could do with this. And what I'm doing there is I'm combining the moves from the routine that I talked about earlier on. So it's resetting the trick as you go. So, you know, you're making the ball disappear. The balls disappear. You're picking it up. You're showing it's inside there. You're tipping it out. You're putting the lid on. You say, well, let me do this again. And because of how well this is made, and it is really well made, as soon as you tip it out, you can show this empty. You can put the lid on, and then you can do it again. I think this is a great way to get into a sponge ball routine as an opening phase, rather than just saying, hey, look, I've got a ball. Look, it splits into 2. Actually having this, I think it makes it a little bit more elegant, you know, bringing this out. And I know some magicians are going to be sitting there going, what's Craig talking about? This looks completely unlike anything that we've seen before, which is true. But here's the thing, we're magicians at the end of the day. We're being paid to do magic. I think that when you're at a gig, it's not a problem bringing out weird and wonderful objects. Yeah, I try to make my magic organic, especially when I'm not in a paid performance situation. But if I'm in a paid performance situation, I've got no problem bringing something like this out, especially if you justify it with presentation. And I think this is a really nice way to just bring attention to the ball, have the ball vanish, go inside there, do it a couple of times, and then you're into your sponge ball routine. The other thing that I think you can do with this is to have an opening phase or an opening 2 phases before you go into my sponge routine. Now, if you don't know what sponge is, it's taught on Netrix when Netrix goes live. It's a transposition between a coin and a sponge ball. So the whole idea is that you have a sponge ball, you have a coin, they change places, and at the end you've got a kicker ending where the 2 fuse together into a metal ball. It's one of my favourite routines to perform walk around. If you wanted to add a couple of phases at the beginning of that routine, and you can check out Sponge on the channel. It's down on the Magic Live playlist somewhere. Just search Sponge Craig Petty and it'll come up. But if you want to add a couple of phases at the beginning of that, before you go into Sponge, this would be a great way to do this. And it would make it really clean. I'm going to perform that for you as well, just so you can kind of see where my mind's going with this. Let's have a look at that. Okay, I'm going to show you something with 4 things right now. Well, technically 3 things, but really 4. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Now, the first thing I've got here is a coin. This is an American $50, a 50-cent piece, a silver coin. So we've got the coin over there. We've got the vase. Now, this is technically 2 sections because you've got the top or the lid of the vase, and you've got the bottom of the vase right here. And then the 4th thing is the ball. So we've got a ball, we've got a vase, which is in 2 sections, and we have the coin. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do before I do it. Normally, you're not meant to tell people what you're going to do before you do it, but I'm going to tell you. I'm going to make the coin and the ball change places. Now, I want you to watch very carefully. I'm going to take the coin, drop it inside the vase. I'm going to put the vase over there. The lid goes on. Remember, the coin is right there inside the vase. And then that leaves me over here with the ball. Hopefully you can see the ball. Now the idea is to try and make the ball and the coin change places, which is impossible because the coin is inside the vase. So the only way I can do it is by snapping my fingers, and when I do, the coin is over there, and inside here we have the ball. They actually change places. Now I know what you're thinking, you didn't know what was going to happen, so I'll do it again. This time you know exactly what's going to happen. Watch, we put the ball right there inside the vase. Now please remember that the ball's inside the vase. Now this time I'll let you see the moment the magic happens. You can see the coin here, but if I just rub, you can see that coin change into the ball. And if the ball's there, that can only mean one thing. Right here inside the vase is the coin, which is pretty weird, but I tell you what, let's get rid of the vase. We'll just use the ball and the coin. And now you go into my sponge routine using the ball and the coin. So you can see that doesn't even use that full stitch. That just literally is showing the ball, showing this, dropping the coin in, and doing a bobo switch. I mean, that's all it is, but it looks so good. And it really establishes the transposition concept. You could realistically just do that, just do those 2 phases I just performed for you, and then put the coin away, put the vase away, put the ball away and go into a coin routine, or put the coin away and go into a sponge ball routine. It makes a great way to transition from one to the other. So let's say you're doing a coin routine. You say, well, let's keep one coin back and let's bring this vase out as well. There's a ball in there. You can then transition into a ball routine or vice versa. But you can use those 2 phases at the beginning of my sponge routine to make it a little bit longer and play a little bit bigger, if that makes sense. Sponge is designed to be done under extreme close-up situations. But if you add this phase in at the beginning, it would then start playing for parlor or definitely banquet. So yeah, I've spent a long time talking about this, and the reason is I really like it. The quality is good. There's no instructions with it, but I mean, they say that on the thing, you're buying the prop basically. But I think if somebody's creative, if somebody's got a creative head, I just love the idea of having one of these set up for a sponge ball and being able to do a sponge ball routine with it. I think it's brilliant. I'm going to give this 95%. I highly recommend it. If you're creative or even half creative or consider yourself creative, I think you're going to come up with some great ideas for this. Okay, so the next routine I want to go through with you, and this is available exclusively through Meir Yedid Magic, is a razor coin by David Roth. Meir Yedid Magic has the exclusive on the eraser coin, and in my opinion, the eraser coin is one of the best David Roth tricks you will ever see. So what is a razor coin? Well, first of all, he sells the gimmicks, Meir sells the gimmicks in either Walking Liberty, pure silver. I think there's normal $50 as well. There's a few different options on his website. But basically, what a razor coin is it's the concept of showing a $50 and then saying, hey, you're probably wondering how I keep these nice and shiny. Well, I use an eraser, I use a rubber. I can just rub the sides and I can make it look really, really shiny. Let me show you. And then you go into this sequence where you start erasing parts of the coin. It's incredible. Now, I remember watching David Roth perform this live, and I was actually blown away, and I desperately wanted to perform it. And when I went up to buy one off him, he didn't have any left. He'd sold out, and I was so gutted. And it took me a long time to find one. When I found one, I performed it religiously, and I still perform it to this day now. What's great about it, and I remember David talking about this at the time, what's great about this is that when David originally came up with this concept, he had like 3 or 4 different switches of coins, and it was all complicated and convoluted. But with this, the way he's done it, there's one gimmicked coin. you just switch this gimmick coin in for a regular coin, and the one gimmick coin does all the work for you. It's almost self-working. The download that comes with this, Meir Yedid first of all starts talking about his particular personal handling, and he talks about the gimmick, and there's probably about a 15-minute segment there, and then it cuts to David Roth live at a lecture talking through how to do the eraser coin. And one thing that David says when he's actually lecturing on this, he actually says this is incredibly easy. Look at it as you know, coin magic without tears, and it really is very easy to do. It revolves around a optical illusion combined with some very simple finger positioning to allow you to do what looks like an absolute miracle, and it's all examinable. That's what's nice about this. Now I'm going to do a performance for you. First of all, this is the sort of thing that you really want to see live, but I'm going to do a performance for you so you can see exactly what it looks like. When I've done the performance, we'll talk about why it's so good. You know, I use American half dollars when I'm performing, and they're beautiful coins. They really are. Sometimes I use silver dollars, sometimes I use half dollars. This is actually a pure silver Kennedy half dollar. Beautiful coin. And when you're performing with coins like this, especially when you're doing magic, you want to keep them nice and shiny, and the best way to shine up your coins and not to use metal polish, it's not to use wax or anything like that. The best thing to do is to actually use a rubber over here. This is absolutely the best way to clean your coins. If you take an eraser and you erase the surface of the coin with the eraser, it makes it so nice and shiny, but you want to be careful. You don't want to rub too hard. Let me show you what I mean. If I take this this coin and I start to rub, and I rub too hard, what actually happens is I can actually erase part of that coin. Like, that's not a good situation. What I'm doing here is I'm destroying the coin. You don't want to do that. You can actually do it from this side as well. You can actually do it here as well. There you go. If I rub too hard, I can actually rub that coin. I mean, have a look at that. You can see it. It's actually erased, probably coming up to a quarter of the coin now. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? You can even do it on the back. Watch, if I rub the back like this, I can rub the back of the coin, and now the back of the coin has rubbed off, other than that tiny little bit there underneath my thumb where I was holding it. That still stays exactly as it was. The rest of the coin, though, has been completely destroyed, and that's how you clean a coin with an eraser. But you want to be really careful that you don't go too far, else you're just not going to be able to use your coin. So there you go, that's a razor coin. Hopefully that came across okay on camera for you. I mean, it's just incredible. One of the things I like about this is that it's, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's a great transition trick. And what I mean by that is it makes a great opener, it makes a great closer, and it makes a great thing to do in the middle. You can do it at any point in your act. So if you want to, you can just bring out a coin, do a razor coin, boom, and then go into any other coin routine you want to. Or you can do a whole coin routine and then say, well, let's take one of these and I'll show you how to keep these nice and shiny. Or you can put it at any point in the middle. Like, it's so flexible. And it works as an opener, it works as a closer, it works as something that you can do in the middle of the routine. It also has got a great hook. You know, hey, let me show you how to make these coins stay nice and clean. You know, a lot of people think you use baking powder or a silver polish. You don't use that. Let me show you what you do. And then that's that part at the end. Don't underestimate this. That part at the end where you just make the whole back of the coin disappear, and then you move your thumb and you go, other than the bit that I was holding my thumb on, that's killer. They all want to look at this. And the nice thing is, the second you've done it, you can immediately hand it out for examination. That's one of the things that makes it so strong. You do this whole thing, and then you immediately hand it out for examination. And the reset, you just put it in your pocket and you're ready to go again. Like, I mean, talk about the perfect reset. There's no table required. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Walk around is absolutely perfect. It's easy to do. It's almost self-working, which is very rare with a coin trick. There's nothing that's bad about this. And the coins that Meir Yedid has had made for this, they actually look better than the original David Roth coins. And he actually talks about how he's changed the design slightly. And he has. The original David Roth coins were completely erased on the back. And he's got it so you can kind of still see what was underneath. when you look at it carefully, which looks really good. Now, in the download, David also talks about how you can do this without an eraser, and you can actually use a rubber or another coin or a finger, and there's lots of other ways of doing it. But the whole idea is it's a nice little self-working trick that you can have in your pocket. That's a really nice thing to do anytime, anywhere. You know, we talk about everyday carry on this. If you get one in your own currency, you can literally just keep that in your wallet, and you can borrow a coin and you can go into this anytime, anywhere. It's absolutely brilliant. I love this. I really do. I've been performing eraser coin for a long time, so I'm going to give this 100%. Meir Yedid has the rights to the eraser coin, so the only place you can get it is directly from him. The coins are well made. The routine is very well explained on the tutorial. It's highly recommended. So routine number 3, the third trick that I'm going to be reviewing from Meir Yedid Magic, is Smilies by Michael Rubinstein. One thing that I've noticed about Meir Yedid Magic is they have the rights to some tricks by some absolutely stunking creators in the world of magic, some absolute legends. You know, we've just talked about David Roth and his eraser coin, and now we're talking about Michael Rubinstein. He's the 2 best coin guys in the world, right? So what's Smilies? Smilies, I've never seen this before, which is rare because I thought I'd seen all of Michael's stuff. Smilies is a really cute spellbound style routine. And I'm going to do a performance for you in a little bit. I've kind of put a performance together of being a motivational speaker and turning your smile upside down. There's lots of different ways you can present this, but you know, I'll probably work on a presentation as I start doing this. And I'm going to start doing this. This is really cute. I like this. Basically what happens is you bring out a coin, you bring out $50, you draw a smiley, a sad face on it, and then there's a series of coin changes that are very logical and well thought out, as you would expect with Michael Rubinstein. Let me do a performance of it for you so you can see exactly what it looks like, and then when I've done the performance, I'll talk about what I think. Okay, so I'm going to show you something with an American $50, a 50-cent piece, a silver coin. This coin has got Kennedy on one side and it's got an eagle on the other side. Now, before I do anything, Sarah, have a look at that coin. Check it out. Make sure it's okay. Is it all right? No wires, magnets, trapdoors, secret compartments. No. Now, you know, because you're my wife, as well as doing magic, there's something else that I do that I get paid to do, and that is motivational speaking, right? Yeah. So I'm going to try and show you something. You know, motivational speaker is meant to speak to people and motivate them to, you know, like do better, and motivate them to take life by the balls, right? So we're going to try and do something right now. I'm going to grab a pen, and what I'm going to do on this coin here is I'm going to draw a little face. It's going to be a sad face. Now, I don't know if that's showing up on camera. Let me just ask you a question. Is that, I'll just put the pen over there. Is that showing up on camera over there? Yeah? Can you see my little sad face there? Yes. Now check this out. Have a look at this, Sarah. Have a look at this sad face. Because here's the thing. If you're walking around in life and you're feeling sad, and you're feeling down, and you're feeling depressed, you're never going to get anything done. The only way to get something done is to have a great attitude. What you have to do, you ever heard that expression, turn that frown upside down? Yeah. That's what you got to do. Watch there. Do you see Kennedy? You see that face down smile, yeah? Yeah. Oh, that's that frown. If I take that frown and turn it upside down, you can see now it's a happy face instead, right? Look at that. Look at that. It's a happy face. That's what you got to do in life, because if you smile, it's impossible to be angry when you're smiling. It's absolutely impossible to be angry when you're smiling. In fact, if you're going to smile, you may as well smile big time. Watch this. If I just do this, I can actually turn that into a really big smile. I mean, check that out, right? That is I mean, it's not the biggest smile. If I wanted to go for the biggest smile, I'd do it one more time like that. And that is how you get the biggest smile right there. And that's my advice to you. Next time you're feeling down, just put a big smile on your face and you're going to feel a lot happier. Now, I was doing that performance sitting down at a table. But this is designed to be a walk-around routine. In fact, Dr. Michael Rubinstein goes into great detail about how you can actually do this walk around, and he talks. He's thought everything through to the nth degree. He's performing it. There's a studio performance where you see it performed and explained, and it's all done stand up. So this is not designed as a sit down routine. This is designed as a walk around routine, and it is very practical, like you would expect with a walk around routine. Within probably 5 or 6 seconds, you're reset, ready to go again. Especially if you do one thing. I was worried that when I saw it, I was worried about, oh, am I going to need to rub the smiley face off every single time? You're not going to need to rub the smiley face off every single time. There's many different ways of dealing with that, so you don't have to. So that's not an issue at all. It's about a 5 or a 10-second reset in between tables. I like this as the finale of a coin routine. So you do a coin routine and you say, well, let me hold on to one coin. I'll put the other ones away. That's something that I do an awful lot when I'm performing coin magic. I'll start with a routine with a lot of coins. And then I'll say, look, let's hold on to one of these coins and let's do something with just one coin. Which coin would you like to hold on to? That one right there. Okay, let's put the other ones away. And then you go into this routine. I love the fact that there's a lot of magic in a very short period of time, which is very important for a commercial walk-around routine. But it's really visual. So you start off by making that smile turn upside down, and don't underestimate that. When you see that moment, that's such a really nice idea, where you've got that down, sad face and then you just rub and now the smiley face. And they're going to react to just that. And then you rub and it turns into that yellow smiley face. And then you rub again and it turns into the big smiley face. That's the equivalent of bringing like a jumbo coin out. It's a really strong routine. It really is. Now, what's interesting about this is you get the two gimmicked Smilies. You also get 2 gimmicked coins as well. You get a $50 gimmicked coin that will enable you to do the routine, but you also get a gimmicked quarter as well. That's gimmicked in exactly the same as the $50. And it's a very unique gimmick. It's based on something that I've seen before, but done in a very different way. But you also get the quarter as well. I like the fact that you get a quarter, because then if you're in America, and obviously I'm not, so it doesn't really mean much to me, but if you're in America, you can have this set up and you can borrow a quarter. Of course, it's difficult to borrow a $50, we know that, right? But it's relatively easy to borrow a quarter. So you can borrow the quarter, you can do the routine, and then you're doing it with a borrowed coin, which is really cool, right? That's a really good idea. So you get 2 gimmick coins in there. You also get a full instructional download. It's about 10 minutes long, but to be honest, that's all it needs to be. It's Dr. Michael Rubinstein talking through exactly how this routine works. Look, here's the thing. You just saw the performance. If you like what you just saw, if you like the performance, if you like the idea of doing that spellbound routine, then this is going to be good for you. You know, if you don't like it, then obviously it's not. But I really like the idea of this. You know, I see so many coin workers, especially new coin magicians, doing all the Ponce of the Smiths type stuff at the moment, and 1,000 coin changes in like 5 seconds. And to me, it's too much. It's kind of like you just can't focus on what's going on. It becomes a blur. It's not magic at that point, when things are changing every 2 seconds. It's not magic. It becomes a bit convoluted. And this is a very old school type thing. You've only got 3 coin changes, but each one has a maximum impact on the audience. Each one builds on the previous spellbound. And for me, I would do this in a heartbeat over any of the Ponce of the Smiths style. And I'm not singling Ponce of the Smith out for no reason. It's just a lot of people can relate to that when I talk about that particular style of spellbound, where it's just so much is happening. To me, it's too much. I prefer to slow my magic down, and I prefer to make each moment impactful on my audience. And that's what Michael Rubinstein has done here. I think it's a really nice, logical spellbound routine that works really well. I'm going to give this 90%. I think this is really good. You get everything with it. It's really well made. It'll last a lifetime. The tutorial's good. It's commercial. No table required. Almost an instant reset. Easy-ish to do. If you can do a spellbound move, you can do the routine. Yeah, nothing not to love. So recommended. Okay, so we've gone from David Roth to Michael Rubinstein, 2 legends. How are we going to go further? How are we going to get another legend into the mix? Well, very, very simply, by reviewing a routine by Juan Tamariz. Juan Tamariz, my hands are empty. A terrible Juan Tamariz impression. But I'd never seen this before, and I've studied a lot of Juan's work. I've never seen this before. This is Royalistic. by Juan Tamariz. The rights are held by Meir Yedid Magic, and this is basically a packet trick. And it's a packet trick with a story about a gambler that's switching cards and makes a fatal mistake. Well, that's actually the bonus presentation. There's 2 presentations in the instructions. This is the routine that the performance I'm about to share with you is the bonus presentation. I actually preferred that bonus presentation to the main presentation. Now, this is very old school. It comes with it comes with written instructions, but there's a QR code that takes you to a live performance and tutorial as well. It's very visual. I'm going to perform it for you, and then once I've performed it for you, I'll talk about what I think. So I'm going to use these 5 cards to tell you guys a story about one of the greatest gamblers of all time when he was nearing the end of his life. He'd retired from gambling for about 15 years. He was an expert at poker. He'd built up a small fortune scamming people in poker games. And this is the story about how he got shot and killed. He came out of retirement at about the age of 80, and he went into this game. And he was dealt this hand. Now, this is not a very good hand. Anybody who knows something about poker will know this is not a very good hand. We've got like, probably best thing you can make here is a pair of 2s, right? It's not really a great hand. And it didn't really matter to this gambler because he was an expert at switching cards under misdirection. So he'd reach for his drink, and as he reaches for his drink, he'd switch his cards to end up with a winning hand. And he did that. He reached for his drink and he switched for a winning hand. He actually switched for the best hand you can actually get in poker. He actually switched for a royal flush in spades. That's a 10, a jack, a queen, a king, and an ace. Now you're probably thinking, well, you know, he did the switch that quickly. How could he possibly get shot and killed? Well, the reason is very simple. You see, he was getting on in life and he didn't realise that he'd actually switched in cards from 5 different back designs, and the people in the game knew he'd switched the cards on them, and that is why he got shot and killed. That's the story of one of the greatest gamblers of all time. And there's a moral to this story. If you're going to cheat at cards, make sure that you switch the same back design in that you're using in the game. Okay, so that's the performance. Like you see, it's very, very quick. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not going to be doing this in my act, and it's nothing about the trick. It's just that, and I've talked about this on the channel before, I don't really do gambling routines. I don't really do stuff with gambling or poker or anything like that. It's just not something I can relate to. I've never played poker in my life, so because I can't relate to it, I think my audiences would sense that, if that kind of makes sense. And also, I have a lot of different packet tricks that I do that are very similar to that. Now, that is not to say that this is not a good trick. What is really nice about this, it is completely self-working. The gimmick cards do all the work for you. You literally just take the packet of cards out, you spread them out, you show what you have, and you can very clearly see what you're meant to have. You know, you just saw the performance, so you'll know. You show them front and back, you square them up, you've got to change into a royal flush, and then when you turn them over, each back design is different. It's a great trick. It's a really visual trick. There's a lot of changes in a very short period of time. From a commercial point of view, you don't need a table. Things can't be examined at the end. They can't be examined at the beginning. This cannot be examined at all, which I think it might be an issue. I don't know. I mean, maybe this is something I do in a review show revisited. I think that might be an issue. I think that when that final change happens and all of the backs change colour, I have a feeling that people will want to examine those cards. Maybe you can get away with it by putting the cards away in your pocket really quickly and moving on to the next thing. But you know, Juan Tamariz, I'm sure, can get away with it because of his personality. But I think it's going to require some careful audience management, because if people go to grab for those cards, you're not going to be able to let them examine them. So it's not examinable. But the reset is almost instantaneous. The reset is pretty much instant. All you have to do is put the cards away, and when you bring them out, you're ready to do again. So it is an instant reset. I'm thinking through as I talk. Yeah, it's an instant reset. So yeah, I mean, it is commercial. You don't need a table. It's easy to do. It's an instant reset. But as I say, that examinability thing is something that you need to be aware of. Personally, if I was going to do a routine that has this sort of presentation, I'd use Call of the Wild by John Bannon. Call of the Wild is kind of another poker-themed trick, but it combines poker with sort of a wild card style presentation. I love Call of the World. I do it quite a lot, to be perfectly honest. And that's probably the routine that I would stick to. This is too similar to Call of the World. But it's not to say it's not good. It is very good. Obviously, it's got Juan Tamariz's name on it. The guy's a living legend. You just saw the performance. If you like what you saw and you're aware that these can't be examined and that will be something that you need to factor into your performance, then get it. It's not very expensive, and you know, the cards are well made. They come specially prepped. They're bicycle playing cards. You get everything that you need. It works out of the box. Within 10 minutes, you'll be performing it. Within 10 minutes, you'll understand what's going on. Within half an hour, you'll be able to perform it, I think. You just need to get the presentation down and just practice the routines a couple of times. It's called Royalistic. It's by Juan Tamariz. As I say, I'm going to give it 80%. I'm not going to do it, but it's a pretty decent packet trick. Okay, the final review I'm going to talk about today is the business card penetration frame. The business card penetration frame by Meir Yedid Magic. Now, this is an old school trick. This has been around since time began. I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this will have seen one of these before. What Meir Yedid has done is he has taken this trick, which is a penetration frame. It's been around for years, and he's had it completely redesigned. It's the same basic method. So if you know this, you're going to know the method. But there's a few things that are an advantage to it. So first of all, it's really well made. Second of all, even though it's made out of plastic, it looks like it's made out of some sort of polished gold metal. It looks really good. And it works like a charm. I've used some of these before, and they don't work very well, or they don't work as well as you'd expect them to. This works great. I'm going to do a performance for you in a minute of it if you haven't seen it before. This works great. Now, the reason it's called a business card penetration frame, I'm going to be using playing cards. I've got no business cards with me at the moment, but Meir talks about how you can actually have 5 or 6 business cards put in both sides of this. And so when somebody wants a business card, or when you want to give a business card out to somebody, you bring this out and you take out a business card and give it to them and say, yeah, this is a business card holder. But let me show you something with this. And then you kind of get into that. I'd buy that. I mean, I'd never use this as a business card holder. I think if somebody bought this out and said this is a business card holder, I'd be kind of looking at them as if to say, have you ever heard of a little wallet? Like what? But I think it's plausible. I think it's plausible that you could have this as a business card holder. To be honest, if I was going to do this, and you know what? This is so well made, I think I might do this, to be perfectly honest. If I was going to do this, what I'd probably do is I'd probably just bring it out and say, hey, well, you're going to see a presentation in a second, but I think I like the idea of talking about the Great Wall of China and talking about David Copperfield. I think that would actually make a lot of sense from a presentational point of view. But the nice thing about this sort of thing is it's down to the individual. Let's have a look at a performance of it. So I'll show you how I would personally do it, and then we'll talk about what we think. So I'm going to show Sarah something. Now, Sarah's sitting behind the camera. How are you doing, Sarah?
Yeah.
Cool. And just before the camera started rolling, can you confirm that I gave you this little frame thing to examine, correct?
You did.
And also these 2 playing cards and this pencil. You've examined everything, haven't you?
Yeah.
Now, this is actually a business card holder, and it's a fancy business card holder. And the idea is that you keep your business cards in there. And when you meet somebody who wants a business card, you take the business card and give it to them. I'm using playing cards because I've got no business cards here, but you've examined this. You know that this glass is solid, right? Now, I want you to watch very carefully. I'm going to take one playing card. I'm going to pop it here like this. So I'll put it in there. And I'm going to take the other, there you go, playing card. I'm going to put it through there. Now, the idea is to create an illusion using these 2 cards and this frame. And the illusion's very, very simple. I'm going to try and take this pencil and push solid through solid. You see, one of my earliest memories as a magician was watching David Copperfield walk through the Great Wall of China, and it always meant something to me. I always absolutely loved that moment. I'm going to try and replicate that. So the pencil's going to be David Copperfield. The 2 cards are going to be the tunnel that he walks through. If you've seen the special, you know what I'm talking about. There's a tunnel he walks through. And obviously this glass here, this is going to be the actual Great Wall of China. And it looks like this. It looks just like that. Check that out. Look, you would actually believe that pencil is penetrating through that glass frame that just a second ago you examined. And I take it out all the way. Now you can see there's a hole right there in the card. But here's the interesting bit. Look, let me just take these out because I want you to see this. If I just take this one out first of all, and then take this one out from underneath, I want you to see that there is no hole in the wall. There's a hole in the playing cards, but there's no hole in the wall. That's how David Copperfield walked through the Great Wall of China, and you can examine everything. So there you go. That's the business card penetration frame. There's a lot of different presentational opportunities with this. Meir Yedid has a probably 15-minute, 20-minute download that comes with this, where he talks about how it works. To be honest, it's completely self-working. You can learn it within seconds. From a commercial point of view, it's easy to do, which is great. There's no table required, which is great. You can do it completely surrounded. The angles aren't an issue, which is great. It's big enough to play to a big audience. So this is something that you can do close up, no problem. But you could also play it to a big audience. Again, really cool. It's an instant reset once you've done the trick. All you have to do is put it away. When you bring it out, you're ready to do again. It's examinable before and after, so you can have it examined before, you have it examined after. They won't see anything. And it is a great way to give out your business card. He's also got, Meir Yedid's also got a bonus routine with it, which is a really nice idea, where you put this on top of a wine glass, a deep wine glass, and you put a card underneath there, and then you take a golf pencil, which is like a smaller pencil, and drop it through, and it's a little bit like it goes through this, and you see it land inside the glass, and then you take this away and you show there's no hole, which is, you know, another nice way of doing that. So it's very commercial. There's only one problem with it, and I don't think it's too much of an issue, but it's worth bringing up, which is this has been around for a very long time. You have to question whether laymen are going to know what this is, and I don't think they will, to be honest. I've never had laymen mention this or anything like this before. You know, they you know, talk about the 21 card trick an awful lot and things like that. But I don't think that I've ever seen anyone talk about this before. So I don't think it's an issue. I won't know until I go out and perform it, and I think I am going to perform this. It's great. It just takes up no pocket space. I can put this into the same pocket that I've got my Series X Pro, and it won't take up any extra pockets, it won't bulge my pockets out, and I can pull it out of my pocket and do it at any time that I want to. And I think this is going to freak a few people out. And if nothing else, it's a nice way to give out my business cards, which is always a winner. Always a winner if you can find a nice way to give out your business cards. But I do like the fact that this is really visual. You can see it from a distance, but you can also do it close up. I'd never thought, to be honest, if somebody said to me, what do you think about putting the penetration frame into your act? I'd be like, nah, I don't think that will work for me. But this, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to put it in my act. I'm going to go, take it out and do it close up, see how it goes. I think part of the thing that I like about this is it does look metal. It does look not like a kiddie prop. You know, I've seen some of these before that are in like little magic sets that are like cheap, and they're made out of blue plastic and they'll break within 0.2 seconds. This looks good. It sounds good. I think it's going to last a long time, and it looks like it's made out of metal. So yeah, I'm going to give this 85%. I think that this is great, and there's a very good chance that I'm going to continue to do this in my act. I have a question mark in the back of my head about how it's going to go, but I'm prepared to give it a shot and see what I think. So there you go, guys. That's another review show special in the bag. Thank you very much, Meir Yedid, for, well, thank you for selling really cool tricks. I've really liked everything on the review show this week. I'm going to be doing another review show special on Meir Yedid Magic in the coming weeks and months. And I am going to be trying to get an interview soon with Meir Yedid, because he's a very interesting guy, a legend in the magic community, and I would love people to hear more about his story. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again on Monday with, what am I doing on Monday? With a 5x5. So I'm going to be back here with a 5x5 on Monday at 9 o'clock, a short at 2 o'clock, at 6 o'clock at Magic Live. But guys, thank you very much for joining me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.